story of The Emperor's New Clothes by Hans Christian Andersen takes place centuries ago in a Danish town. The people were forced to endure the reign of a vain emperor. He hosted weekly extravagant fashion parades to showcase his vast assortment of fine clothing, all funded by the townspeople's taxes, of course. But tensions swelled as their rapidly increasing taxes caused businesses to dwindle. Due to the outrage, the emperor feared that no one would turn up to his events anymore, so he insisted that anyone who chose not to attend would be killed. While the emperor was in his palace preparing for his next show, a barmaid tended to two men. They each wore outfits made of stitched rags and were in desperate need of money. The barmaid informed them of the emperor's fascination with clothing. This grasped the men's attention. They plotted to steal the emperor's money and spend it on nice new clothes, houses, and accessories. They casually mentioned to as many people as they could find that they possessed this incredible ability to make extraordinary clothes suitable for only the most exceptional rulers. News of the men soon reached the emperor. Although the emperor was skeptical at first, he couldn't resist inviting the con men into his palace in the hopes of an entirely unique and magnificent ensemble of clothing. With the promise of clothing so marvelous that it would not be visible to the stupid, only those worthy of power, the emperor granted his new tailors rooms in his palace, endless luxurious materials, and equipment to create their masterpiece. The men spent countless hours at their empty weaving stations to convince witnesses that they were working. Over the week, the emperor sent his advisors to observe the progress. Each advisor was astounded to find that they couldn't see the fabric. Nevertheless, not one of them wished to be considered stupid, so continued to inform the emperor of the exquisite outfit. While suspicion arose when descriptions from the advisors clashed, they all refused to damage their reputation by admitting foolishness. Eventually, the emperor needed to check up on the tailors himself, only to discover that it was invisible to him as well. Afraid of anyone finding out that he was unfit to rule, he offered his compliments and respect for the tailor's work. On the Friday of the fashion show, all of the advisors pretended to marvel at the emperor, and as he stepped out to show the outfit off, the audience continued the praise. All were too afraid to speak out until one small child called out, "But he's not wearing any clothes." A child so innocent could not possibly be deemed unworthy by anyone. Thus his exclamation broke everyone out of their shells of pride as they began teasing the emperor for being so ignorant. By the time he had stormed the palace in search of the con men, they had left town with all of the valuable silk and supplies to sell. He recognized how his priorities had fallen out of order and reconsidered the worth of his vanity showcases, while the town and the palace advisors realized how their pride and fear of judgment can cause damage to most people's self-esteem. The Emperor's New Clothes relates to many aspects of teaching, like maintaining supportive and safe learning environments. This is done by encouraging student participation so that they are not afraid to speak up about their opinions, like the townspeople should have done. The story also shows a lack of managing challenging behavior, as the emperor, the one in the leadership position, was not able to identify the presence of the tailors lying for their own advantage and harming the people around them. The advisors also offered insight on assessing, providing feedback, and reporting on student learning, as they failed to provide the appropriate feedback of the conmen's progress. They displayed how the code of ethics must be implemented in a teaching environment, since they refused to act with impartiality, truthfulness, and honesty. The emperor also chose to trust information from a non-reputable source, which heavily impacted the outcome of the fashion show. This is the equivalent of impacting a student's success in education. This decision represents the sector's expectation of understanding how to use high-quality, evidence-based teaching practices that focus on the success of the students. The conmen and advisors proved the importance of demonstrating responsibility by working collaboratively and cooperatively with colleagues and prioritizing the education and welfare of the students. Neither the conmen nor the advisors had the emperor's best interests in mind while lying about the absence of clothing. This is similar to when the emperor forgot about his duties and overlooked the amount of harm increasing the taxes so significantly would cause. This connects with the idea of focusing on student learning and considerations as the most important criteria for decision making. Using processes that improve student performance, lowering taxes, not fashion shows, and develop teachers' careers, and collaborating with peers and school community, the advisors, for the benefits of the students, the townspeople.